It started off down at 7th and Walnut. Now we've moved over to Broadway between Ace Hardware and Community Corrections. And we are averaging serving anywhere from 40 to 60 people per day come through our doors. They get day shelter, they have a hot meal. We now have a shower and laundry equipment, which was donated by Salina Shares. And this past month alone, we were able to offer 87 showers to people in our community and did 54 loads of laundry. So that's just the start, okay? Because what we need to do is we need to pull people out of chaos. And we need to start surrounding them with love and care and stability. God is not a God of chaos. God's a God of order. And so we want to help them come out of that chaos and start getting the stability they need. And so part of one of our goals here at Salina Grace is now that we've helped them to start stabilizing and get them the help that they need, let's transition them to longer term help, which is where I will start talking about the rescue mission. And at the rescue mission, you know, it all starts with safety and stability. So we start off, many guys from the community come to us because they know they can get a meal and they know that they can get a bed. And that's just the beginning. So over the past few years, we have seen the numbers continue trend upwards. Last year, we averaged serving 75 men per night last year. This year, we're averaging 86 men per night. This last month, we've averaged 93 men per night. We have 95 beds, folks, and so many nights here lately, we've had all 95 beds full. And so it's really important that as we're taking people in, we're not just making them comfortable, but we are a programs-focused mission. So it's not just come in, hang out for as long as you want. It's come in and enter into a program to start helping yourself get the care that you need. We have an employment program where we help 80% of our guys coming through the mission that are eligible to work. We're able to get them a full-time job, 80%. Okay. We have a supportive health program for people who cannot work, whether it's temporary or permanent, due to medical, mental, or mental health issues, or because they're aging. They're no longer able to continue in the workforce. And that's the highest, by the way, of the population we've seen rising here in our community. That's where the biggest, sharpest rise has been, is people who are on fixed incomes right now are struggling more than ever to make it on a regular basis. And so helping people to make it, helping people to learn how to manage their finances better, and get them a support system so that they can make it when they move out of the mission. And then finally, our favorite program is our New Life program, and that's a Christian-based recovery program and discipleship program. It's free for anybody, any man who would like to come into that program. They have to apply for it. They have to go through an interview process because we want to make sure that they're ready to stick to the commitment, because it's a long, hard, arduous task to break free from addictions. And it's a Christ-centered program, so you got to want Christ. There's other programs out there if you want other programs, but ours is a Christ-centered program. Amen. And so we're able to help people make some pretty significant changes in their lives. And I'm not sure how much time I got left.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, all right. I'm going to wrap up by telling you Jason's story. Jason grew up having a very hard life, had a major accident when he was young, had traumatic brain injury. He was always made fun of because he was slower than everybody else, and he just struggled to make things, and so, you know, they razzed him a lot, and that really played on his subconscious. And somewhere along the ways, he started developing some mental health issues. He didn't understand they were mental health issues. He just knew he was having a lot more anxious thoughts, and he was looking for some way to quiet those thoughts. And so he turned to alcohol and drugs, and they temporarily worked, but after a time, all he did was realize he had become an addict. After several years of reaching out to him, both at the mission and at Salina Grace, we were finally able to talk him into coming back in and trying our New Life program. Today, Jason has been sober for over 2 years. He is working in the community and now living back in the community, supporting himself. And he comes to the Salina Rescue Mission and to Salina Grace every week and encourages the other guys to get the help that's offered. That's the kind of transformation that we're aiming for. And so, I do also want to say this. There's a difference between Salina Rescue Mission and Salina Grace. They are two separate organizations, their own 501c3s, their own board of directors. Salina Rescue Mission does not receive any government funding at all. We are completely supported by the community. And so 70% of our gifts come from individuals in the community. The rest of it comes from businesses, churches, and foundations. At Salina Grace does accept government funding, and about 25% of our funding comes from the City of Salina, County of Salina, and HUD. So that's 25% of our funding from those three areas. Another 25% comes from foundations, and the other 50% comes from individuals in the community who are supporting us, businesses and churches. So we invite you to learn more about us. Also want to point out we have these little handy dandy things we've made up here, because oftentimes we get people asking, how can I help? What do I do if I see a homeless person? Well, that's not an easy question to answer because every situation is different. There's some situations where it's safe to go talk to somebody. There are other situations where it's not safe to talk to somebody. So we have this little kind of roadmap up here where it says, well, hey, is this a medical emergency? Call 911. Is it a mental health emergency? Call the mental health crisis line. And we have the phone number right here. Is the person causing a public disturbance or behaving unsafely? Well, in that case, call the police. And if you feel safe to approach somebody, please approach them and let them know what resources there are in the community. We do not advocate for giving money. We advocate for directing them to long-term resources that are best suited to help them. And so I think I finished up my time. Thank you.
I know most of you could hear Chad pretty well, but I'm going to give the microphone down here.
I can be as loud as him.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good. My name is Brenda Miller, and I am the director of the Salina Birthright. Birthright is an international organization that was founded in Canada by a woman by the name of Louise Miller. She is, she's no longer with us. Her daughters now run the organization, but there is a U.S. Based division of Birthright that is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. Salina's Birthright has been here next year for 50 years. We've been present in this community for 50 years. We started out as an office that was half the size of that kitchen in the old United building on the 3rd floor. And we've grown from that to a little house on Midway for a number of years, to we were temporarily displaced and put up by the Kansas Wesleyan campus, which was a really great spot for us. We were busy all the time there. And then they moved us out of Midway to that little location temporarily until the city helped us find the location where we are now, which is on Iron Street, right across from Casey's. It's a home. It's very welcoming for our clients. Our mission statement at Birthright is every woman has the right to carry her child to term, and every baby has the right to be born. So everything that we do when we are visiting with our moms and our clients is to remind ourselves that that's our focus. Give them whatever support they need to carry their child to term and to help bring into the world a healthy baby. One of the big things that we've done for 50 years is provide free pregnancy tests for these moms. And it's not a pregnancy test that you buy off the shelf at CVS, right? And in this day and age of anybody can go buy that off of the shelf, that service has kind of diminished a little bit for us. However, the importance of coming and getting that test, that free test from Birthright is we will do it confidentially. So if we have a young mom that walks in and is afraid and doesn't know what to do and wants us to do a pregnancy test, we do that confidentially for them. And it is a pregnancy test that they would get if they were at a doctor's office. It's scientific based. We have to have a license to be able to do it, which we do. And the results from that test, if it's positive, they can take those results to either their doctor or to Salina Family Clinic and immediately be put on Medicaid so that they can get that health care that they need and that prenatal care that they need. The doctors at Salina Family will also immediately put them on prenatal vitamins before they're even seen by the physician. So anyway, those are the things that we do. We also, once they have their babies, we have a big demand for diapers and formula and clothing, which we provide free. The clothing is one of our big ones for children that are maybe in their toddler age and up to 4 years old. And that stuff gets expensive. You know, WIC doesn't cover everything for these moms, and formula is a very expensive item. So we are fortunate enough that our donations that we receive around Christmas time from the local area churches and even other folks that just drop things off, we get enough that we can give that out to the moms that need it. We also offer financial assistance for those moms that find themselves, or those families that find themselves in a bind. And those binds have really quadrupled for us in the last few years, considering COVID and the rise in inflation and how everything has gone up in price. So we monitor what we give them. We don't pay them directly. We assist with either going directly and paying the water bill at Salina, the city building, or we call Evergy and pay a portion of their electric bill. We even helped pay their rent. We do have a story where we sponsored a mom who was at Oxford House for a few years and had a child, and we helped pay her rent there for the time that she was at Oxford House until she got out. I think she actually moved to Wichita, and she called us not very long ago wanting us to assist her with a water bill. And we do have a pretty firm stand on, we help moms in Saline County and some of the outer lying counties around. There are 5 birthrights in Kansas. We're the first. There's one in Great Bend, there's one in Hutch, there's one in Topeka, and there's one in Leavenworth. So imagine, there's lots of counties surrounding Saline County. So we try to stay within that, but this mom had moved to Wichita, so we, politely pointed her in a different direction. But that's what we do, is we help find and get them the resources that they need. We've also helped moms that were in this country illegally, not under their own control, but to gain citizenship. So we direct them to places like, you know, the Lutheran ministries or even the Catholic ministries, Catholic charities, to help them with those pro bono services that they need, because they come in and they really are, they don't know what to do. Most of them don't even speak very good English, right? So we try to help them as much as we can. We provide them a loving environment so that they feel comfortable. We do some abortion counseling. Because again, it's our mantra and our mission to help them bring that baby to term. We give away a lot of diapers. We are very blessed in our benefactors. We are a not-for-profit. We operate solely on donations from this county, from people in this county and this surrounding area. We've got one big donor that has donated to us for over 50 years. So that's helped keep the lights on and help us pay for our home and be able to give these free services to these moms. The only requirement that we have is there has to be a child under the age of 4 in the house for us to support from a financial standpoint. We do things like we put together what we call baby bundles, and we take them up to Salina Regional to the mother baby unit, and they give them out to those moms that they feel. We leave it to them to give it out, so they give it to the mom that they feel needs probably a little extra support. We're open Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6, and I know somebody's got a question about that, so I'll wait till she asks it. We are not open over the weekends because we've tried it before. It just, our clientele are women that are coming A, after work, B, after school, but no later than 6 p.m. because they're at home at that point, right? So we are a fully run volunteer organization. One of our volunteers is in the audience today, and we wouldn't have been here for 50 years without our volunteers. We're not paid. All of us are volunteers. So, what else? Am I running close to time? Yeah, 6 minutes. Okay. And I do want to say that we're not necessarily a Christian-backed organization, but we believe that any woman that wants to come in, that we will help and support and love them, give them support in a loving way. We don't judge. We have helped teenage girls have conversations with their parents about, you know, what their choices can be. Some of those conversations are not very comfortable for us as volunteers, but we do, you know, offer each other the opportunity to kind of, you know, how do I have this conversation with this parent who has a 15-year-old child that's pregnant, right? So we walk through and we do a lot of role playing and things like that to help support that conversation for our volunteers. Most of our volunteers sit in the office and really man it from 4 to 6, and not necessarily are they having those outside conversations. I do that just to help them feel comfortable that they don't have to have those, and we try to do it in a public way so that the parents are comfortable and the 15-year-old is comfortable, and quite honestly the volunteer is comfortable doing that. So my goodness, I guess that's it. I'll be happy to take questions when we're all done, so I'm going to give you to Rosie over here, who's very popular.
You are senior, for a good part
there's
of your
some
senior. My name is Rosie Walter. I'm with Senior Services here in Salina. We're in the old courthouse over on 9th Street across from the library. Does everybody know where that's at? So at the Senior Center, we do several different things. We do Meals on Wheels. I'm sure most of you are familiar with what Meals on Wheels is, which is pretty much ran by our volunteers. We have probably 300 different volunteers that help us deliver approximately 273 meals a day to our seniors, homebound seniors. It actually has really taken off and grown just a little bit more. So in retrospect, it's now at 313. I mean, and it just shows you the increase of our senior population, or the word's getting out there that we have Meals on Wheels. So we deliver probably, you pick up your route about 10:30 or so, and you're usually done about 11:30, but we are always looking for volunteers to deliver Meals on Wheels. It's great when you can get like an organization together, like a Banks or Birthright. Anybody that wants to deliver, if you can form like a group, it's really kind of nice, because then you can trade off. And then you only deliver every 6th week. So some people think, well, that's way too big of a commitment, but it's really not, because you're not going to deliver but every 6th week. And you can get put on the sub list too. We do a lot more than just Meals on Wheels though. We are a activity center for Meals on Wheels. We do serve in the dining room too, but, and we serve, some of our seniors could tell you, Diane, a lot. So on a fried chicken day, we have been as high as 450 in the dining room. So when you take that and you put it with the Meals on Wheels, we put out a lot of food every single day. To get on the program, you fill out a UPR. It's just a federal funded program, so you're gonna have a form that you're gonna have to fill out. The only qualification for that is that you are 60 or above. That's the only qualification. It's a subsidized program, and you pay whatever you can comfortably afford, or up to $4. Or nothing. If you can't afford it, then the subsidized kicks in and they'll pay for you. We also, this is funny, we deliver to pets. We have a pet program. For our Meals on Wheels. But we do more than that. We are an activity center, so you can come into the center every single day and be in an exercise class. It might be a fitness class, or it might be a yoga class. You can do it from the comfort of your chair if you want. But yeah, we have, I think, 35 people in the class today or so. So, I mean, they're really getting pretty big. But we also have wood carving. Wood carving, we have people that come in, a group, and they do nothing but they sit and they carve different things. They even carved my dog. So, I mean, it's just, they're wonderful. Everything from crazy good to, you know, starters. So, oh wait, I'll get to it. I'll get to that one. No, so wood carving, they do paint some of them though. They do a little bit of everything. They've even been on the news. KWCH, Wichita, is that the Wichita station? Came down and interviewed them, so they're really good. We have one guy that has no fingers on one hand, all these fingers on the other, but he still is crazy good. We have a painting class. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, painters come in and we have an instructor, and she'll sit with you and paint. We just had one of our patrons ask, because they displayed him downstairs, if they could buy this rabbit that they saw. So I'll be interested to see what she charges him. But yeah, it's a nice little rabbit. We have pool players. So yeah, we have Every single morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, they are the first ones through the door besides myself. And they're upstairs and they're playing pool, drinking coffee, playing pool, having competitions. I probably better not know, or probably shouldn't know.
All men. I don't think there's any women.
Yeah, we've got women.
Do you?
Yeah, we even have women that go on tournament with them because they travel all over to the other senior centers and play against them. So, yeah, I mean, it's really gotten kind of big. We do sewing. So we have the peacemakers that are here in the building with us, and they're quilters or sewers. They make everything from boppies for new moms for the hospital to blankets for St. Francis Boys Homes. They make twin-size blankets. They make blankets for hospice. So, so they have something to cover up when they're getting treatment. So they do a little bit of everything, but they are incredible. And they do it all for free. So everything that they send out to Hospice of St. Francis is all from donated fabric that comes in. And now they're making fidget blankets. Do you know what a fidget blanket is? A fidget blanket is for people that may have diminished brain capacity. Maybe they have Alzheimer's, maybe they had a brain injury, but it's just an activity blanket for an adult, just like a little size one. And they, it has zippers and barrettes they can open and close, and all sorts of different activities that they can play with. And it just keeps their hands busy. So, and it's been very effective. So we are also looking for even a committee to help us, you know, bridge some of those gaps that maybe we're not thinking of, or different programs. We've had like the theater program, and it was huge. All of our seniors became actors, and we had every show, I would say, was sold out. But they've got way too big for us, so they're now at this line of theater. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to have happen, but I mean, you always want to have new programs and, you know, different fun activities for our seniors so that they want to come in and socialize, because socialization for our seniors is key for their mental health. But I mean, honestly, to come down and eat a good meal with your friends, I mean, is huge. So if you know of anybody that needs socialization, to play cards or whatever, I mean, you can come on into the center and our staff will help you. Introduce you to other people so you can get started with your little group, exercise with them, play cards with them, drink a lot of coffee, have some lunch. And that's about all I have. I have a lot of literature. So I have menus for August and September, and then I have the UPR forms. One other key thing I would tell you though is if you do deliver or decide that you want to volunteer in the center and help with exercise classes or painting or whatever, or you want to start a new group, you get a meal. You fill out one of these UPRs and you get a meal. So, bonus for that. Oh yeah, fried chicken. We did have foot care, but again, got too big. You know, they started out with one time every 9 weeks, and then they ended up coming like 4 times a month, and they were just like, we got to do something. We got to go to a bigger location. So yeah, they went into a church. So that's the thing, is you have, I mean, if you want a senior care or service, I mean, we're the place to hit, because it will grow if they like it.
So I think she went short. Do I get the extra minutes? I'm just kidding. My name is Debbie Rivers, and I'm the founder and director of Salina Shares. And I'm going to take a couple of my minutes to just give you, you know, just the short story of the history, because I often hear people say, well, I've never heard of you, and I understand. I don't expect that you heard of me. And then when they say you have heard of Salina Shares, I'm shocked. So anyway, the story is, in 2011, I had a group of friends over for a random acts of kindness party. And I had all sorts of stuff packaged up, and we split up in different cars, and we went all over town, and we just stopped and talked to people that were standing by themselves or sitting at a bus stop or whatever the case may be, gave them a little gift, talked to them, came back to my house, had lunch together, and shared our stories because we were in different cars. And I was really surprised at the number of people that were crying as they shared those stories and how they were impacted. Anyway, we ended up doing it for 2 years. It kept growing. We kept going out, and in 2013, case manager from Salina Public Housing called me, and she thought I was a group, like she thought we were a thing or something, and I thought she had the wrong number. And but anyway, long story short, she said, you know, we have families that move into housing that don't have what they need. We do a walkthrough 3 days later. Can you and your group help with the things that they don't have? And like I said, well, this is just kind of my friends and me, and I don't know that I can commit everybody to that, so let's just do a case-by-case basis. And we were so surprised. It was probably the second point of impact for all of us, that, you know, their wish lists included toilet paper and towels and a skillet and just some of the real most basic things we have. And so we started sharing out of our own homes and our own pantries, and we didn't buy anything, we all just shared. And I do have to say, the group of friends was growing, you know what I mean, because then they're friends. And so there were times that we basically furnished a whole house. There was a couple, they had broken down in Hayes. They had 5, 6 children, but when I met them, they only had an infant with them, so I thought that was just the only child they had. They were living in a hotel and had to be out by 11 that morning. I met them at 2 in the afternoon with the baby. They were gonna spend the night in the park. And this is in the early days of Salina Shares. And so I put it on Facebook just to my friends. Anybody want to donate $10 towards getting them a hotel? And the money came flying in because most of us can afford $10. And that's how we did everything in the early years, is just split it up, and everybody shared what they could, and we were able to meet a huge amount of needs. This particular family, I found out very naively, they just didn't know, but they didn't want their kids to be homeless, so they basically signed all their kids over to foster care, thinking that it would be like an easy thing, that when we get a house, we'll just get them back. You know, they just didn't know. It was, anyway, they did get the biggest house that Salina Public Housing has, and they got all their kids back one by one. But in order to get their kids back, that house had to be furnished. It had to have a bed for everybody. It had to have clothes for everybody. It had to have food in the refrigerator. And I remember one of my friends was working in Lindsborg. So it was like this huge project in Salina and Lindsborg. We furnished the whole house, and they were able to get their kids back. So just the power of sharing what we have. There were a couple things that were purchased, but people purchased those willingly. And so that really set the stage for a big thing that we do now. But you have to realize all this time, like, I'm not planning on starting an organization. Like, we're just having fun, right? And so in 2014, we started Laundry Love here in Salina. How many of you have heard of Laundry Love? That's what most people have heard, but they don't even know it's associated with us. That's okay. But in fact, I left Laundry Love tonight at 6:45 to get here. We're at Speedy Wash tonight till 9. When I left, we had already served 25 people. So we started at 5, and we served them dinner. So we started Laundry Love in 2014. There was only one laundromat that would give us permission. I don't know what they thought we were going to do. It brings in money for them, but that's okay. And by 2015, the other two had changed management and gave us permission. So by the end of 2015, we were in all 3 laundromats once a month paying for people's laundry. So this is our 12th year. We're still doing it. And so then, let's see, 2014. By 2016, you know, we had started all 3 laundromats, and I realized real quick that, like, my friends and I, we couldn't sustain this. Like, it kind of exploded. Laundry is a huge need. It's expensive. Laundromats are expensive. We also provided the laundry supplies. And so it was really at that point, and I say this in all sincerity, so in 2014, somebody had given me, 2 people had given me $200 because it cost $400 to apply to be a nonprofit. And I did not want to become a nonprofit. And so that money sat on our kitchen shelf for 2 years because I didn't want to become a nonprofit. So, but by 2016, I had realized we couldn't sustain this. Like, Laundry Love is important, and it was meeting a lot of needs, and I really sincerely wanted to continue it. And so for that purpose, I did it. It was like, I thought, okay, now I need to surround myself with people smarter than me, because I'm not a business person, and so I do. I have a great board. I have lots of people smarter than me that volunteer. So that was 2016. In 2017, about, somebody came to me, and they're friends, but we went to the same church, and they said, you know, we've been watching you for about 3 years, and you really need a building, because all this was done out of my house for 8 years. So asked my husband, like, there was a lot of stuff. So they offered to find us a building, and that search took about a year and a half. We had one that was about to close, and everything fell through. And where we ended up is downtown, right next door to the Salvation Army thrift store. I had no idea at the time what a key place that would be, what a key location that is. We're right in between Ashby House and DBAC. At the time, it's not as much anymore, but downtown was a real hub for the homeless, and so we were serving a lot of homeless people. And anyway, we moved into the building in 2019, and have been there since. So it's been a wonderful home for us. You know, I remember a couple years ago, somebody came to ask me questions because what he said was that I was called to the homeless. And I said, oh, wait. Like, I'm not called to the homeless, I'm called to love my neighbor. And that includes everybody. They are some of the people that walk through the door, but I'm no expert. Talk to Chad. And I've learned a lot, but that really is still what I believe and how I operate is I'm called to love my neighbor. Everybody's made in the image of God, and so as they walk through the door, we have amazing volunteers that are so kind and just speak dignity into their lives. And I am paid, but everybody else is volunteer in our building and in Laundry Love. So it really is kind of a grassroots effort. I see my neighbor, like, hi, Judy. So little did she know, like, when we lived next door, that, you know, I'm always unloading my car and people are leaving stuff all over our front porch. And we drive in our driveway, and because we lived on Highland, it had a big front porch. And my husband Steve would say, oh my God, what? Who dropped that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, people would drop stuff off. I don't think Judy even realized at that time. Now Judy brings stuff all the time to Salina Shares. So thank you, Judy. Anyway, that's how it's worked. Everybody, our motto is do what you can when you can. And that's true in every way, whether it's your time, whether it's your money, whether it's your belongings. You know, we all go through seasons of life. And so one of the main things that we do, other than Laundry Love, that's what most people know us for, but is we have about 20 to 25 agencies that refer people to us when somebody is starting over. And that can be for a ton of reasons. And I am always amazed, like, why don't they have any stuff? Like, where's all their stuff? It could be in a storage unit in a different town, in a different state. They could have just gotten out of jail. They could be fleeing domestic violence. It's just the stories are numerous. But we do what we call a move-in kit. And that really had its seed back with the Salina Public Housing. And now that's what most of our building is used for, is storing all that stuff. And there's a couple volunteers here. One of them is like, yep, that's what's stored in that building. Lots of stuff. So think about starting over. It's just the basics. It's kitchen supplies, pots and pans, dishes, silverware. We always include a can opener. Towels, sheet sets, hygiene items, cleaning supplies, just the basics. I looked the other day just to see, at the end of July, we had done 43 move-ins this year so far. And so it's just more and more agencies are finding, and I have to say, we really just try and stay in our own lane. Like, again, I didn't plan this. So, this is a little niche we've found that nobody else is doing. We don't have the money or the resources to duplicate services. So this is something that, it's worked for us, because anything you donate to Salina Shares can be used. It doesn't have to be new. And so a lot of people will lose a parent, or they're downsizing, and so they bring all their stuff to us. And, well, not all of it. Well, sometimes all of it. The beauty of our location is that we are right next door to the Salvation Army thrift store. So if we can't use it, it goes out our back door and into their back door. And we're very honest about that. We graciously accept all the donations, but we always say, if we can't use this, can we take it next door? Usually, by the time people donate stuff to us like that, they're just ready to get rid of it. They're like, sure, yeah. So it works really well. I will say, now that we've been in our building 5 years, almost 6, people in the community are learning what we need. So a lot of the time, we get just what we need. We get a used set of towels, we get sheet sets, we get whatever it is that we need. And so there's less and less going next door to the Salvation Army. But it is convenient, I have to say. So in 2020 then, I had an experience with a couple that I know. They were both working, but she ran a daycare in their home, and because of COVID and stay-at-home order and all that, she basically, lost the daycare. His hours got cut, and she called me and asked if Salina Shares had a coat for their older son, and she was apologizing. She goes, we really planned to get 2 years out of this, but he had this growth spurt and it doesn't fit him, and they didn't have the money to get him a coat. And so, and she was an acquaintance, not a close friend, but I just gave her the money for the coat. And she brought back the change, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, just use this. It was around Christmas time. I said, just use this for something, stocking stuffers or something. And I began to think, how can we provide a solution for Christmas for couples like this, or for families like this? It doesn't have to be a couple, a lot of single parent homes, just to keep their dignity intact. I knew that they would never go to an agency for help for Christmas. I knew they wouldn't, never. And so I decided to try, what if we had a Christmas store? And it was during COVID, so we did it by appointment only. And so they were the only people in the store at the time. They got 3 gifts per child. And what if, and like, who's gonna rent me a store for 3 months? And somebody did. It was on Walnut, right around the corner from our location. And so we set up this Christmas store and ran it all through December, and hauled everything back over to our office. And I had to buy shelving and stuff, so where are we going to put all this, and but everybody just loved the experience. The stories that we had from the families that we met, that we were able to serve, And that family, by the way, that needed the coat, she did shop it. She cried the whole time, but she did shop it. So that was in 2020. In 2021, then that business had been rented out, that storefront had been rented out, and I thought, okay, where can we have this? And I'm going like all around the neighborhood, and the building right next door to us opened up. And so we now rent the building next door to us as well. And it's a year-round project. For the Christmas store, all the donations have to be new. It's Christmas, so we want everything new. We have a woman that hand makes stockings. She made over 200 last year. They're beautiful. They get stocking stuffers, and then they get new packages of socks and underwear for every child. And I have to say, there's a number of adults that say, can I have a pack too, you know? And absolutely, you know. So we meet a lot of needs. You'll see hats and scarves and gloves hung on bus stops and lamp posts, and that's us too. During the winter, we try and go out during some of the coldest days. We do it along school fences, and they have little notes on them that say, you can take me, so that if kids come home with something, they don't get in trouble for stealing it or something. But so we just do a variety of things. We're always looking for opportunities of how we can encourage other people and just enrich their lives. With that random act of kindness, they're really not so random, really. But we plan them, and we go out. Right now we have a bunch of little water bottles are filled with candy, and they have string attached, and we tie them to trees all over playgrounds. And so, yeah, that's us. But, you know, we've learned that they seem like little things, but sometimes the littlest thing can be such a day brightener. Those conversations that we've had when, you know, at the very beginning years when we give people things, you know, it's one-on-one, it's face-to-face, it's, I care about you, you know, and you're worth my time, you're worth my effort. And so that really is just the premise of Salina Shares. We do what we can when we can. If we get a new idea, we run with it. We can decide tonight that we're going to do something tomorrow. It's the great part about being small. And anyway, that's Salina Shares in a nutshell.
Perfect, perfect. Hold on back. I didn't know she was serious about taking the rest of the time from down the line. That was great, Debbie. I'm joking. You may need 2 swallows of water down there. If you have questions that you would like asked of the panels, I know they've been passing baskets around, but if you have some, they still have some baskets that are going around, so just raise it up and we'll come out and collect it for you. But to get this started, I guess we'll start with Chad. He hasn't talked in a while. You want to pass the microphone down to him? And I'll ask this of all of you. What is something that we as a community can do for your organization? I know it's not all about dollars. I know sometimes it's volunteerism, sometimes it's different things, but is there 1 or 2 things that we as a community can help you out in your mission? Or if you don't know, Chad, I can have you start later.
Yeah. Know why we do what we do. Know why we do what we do. I'm a sinner saved by grace. My life was a mess. I found myself homeless. I couldn't put it together. I didn't know what to do. I went to AA, went to NA, went to AAA. I did them all. Inpatient, outpatients, I've done them. And I kept relapsing and I didn't know why. It wasn't until a lot of hardship later and a time of hopelessness where I thought death was my only way out. It was at that time when I tried to kill myself that I started talking to God. And that led me on a journey for looking for meaning and purpose to life and to answer the question whether or not God exists or not. And eventually, God led me to a Bible. And I didn't want to read the whole thing. So I got one of those Bibles that said the words of the Lord in red, because that was the Cliff Notes. And I opened it up to where the words were in red. And I started reading. And that's when I met Jesus.
Amen.
And Jesus did a work in my heart.
That's what he does.
And he started doing a work in my life. And he started showing me a different way to live. I realized early on that I was not saved because I was cute. I was saved because the Lord's love and grace is unmeasurably, speakably big. We get to be an ambassador for the kingdom of heaven. We get to be an ambassador for the kingdom of heaven here on earth. There's no reason I should be in the position I'm in today, but God. And so when we reach out to a neighbor who's struggling, and I have to tell you, brothers and sisters, because I hear it from time to time and it irks me and I might offend somebody here, but I gotta say it because it's on my heart. Yeah, we might help someone from a different zip code because God brought them here to us. We didn't ask them to come here, but if God put them on our doorstep, you better bet I'm going to do everything I can to try to help them and to try to share God's glory with them and try to make a difference in their lives. God's love knows no bounds and no boundaries. Know why we do what we do. It's for God. That God called us to serve. God called us to care. God called us to provide. I'm sure everyone, even some people who may not know it yet, right? There's a space in our heart that's made for God. And it yearns to be filled with God. And it's yearning with a purpose for God. And I think each one of these different agencies and different things that they're trying to do to help people to express love and care for it is something that God designed in their hearts to do. And so we get criticism from time to time that where people say we only have the homeless in town because you're in town. And I've heard that more than once from people who call themselves Christians. And that hurts my heart deeply to hear such things. The truth is there's hurting people everywhere. We're called to make a difference. We're called to be a light. We're called to be salt. We're called to be ambassadors. We're not advertising. Hey, send your people to us. But people come, and we're going to do our best to help them when they get here because God told us to.
Thank you. For Birthright, the one thing I would say that we want for you to know about us is that we are a resource for not only moms and babies in crisis, but we're also here to provide them whatever support they need to provide a loving, caring, warm, safe home for them to grow up in. There's a saying out there that says that even the smallest person can change the course of the future. And every single one of us were born under the same circumstances for the most part. And we all entered this world naked, right? In more ways than just physically naked. We needed love and support. Maybe our parents needed love and support. But that's what we provide at Birthright. And we do it without judgment, and we do it with love. And we've been here for 50 years doing the same darn thing. So if I would say what do we need for you all to make sure that you say that to whoever you meet. You meet somebody on the street that needs something or can't afford the diaper, say, hey, have you heard about Birthright? Right? Just, and where we are. So, but that's what we're here for. We've been here long enough that we have a pretty good relationship with folks in the community and the churches and the hospital, obviously, and the healthcare center, the Salina Healthcare, Saline County Healthcare. They know who we are. And it really helps, though, for those that don't know what we do and think that we just do pregnancy tests. We do more than that. So that's what I would say, is that we do it with love and caring in our hearts. Okay.
I would say getting the word out about the senior center for those that are shut-ins is probably the biggest thing. It's hard to reach everybody. There's no longer the Salina Journal. A lot of seniors do not do computers. So it can be hard to reach all the seniors that may need a meal, a nutritious meal in their home, and a volunteer that spends a few minutes with them. So I would say if you could advocate in any way for us is just to, if you have friends or neighbors that need care, that's a senior, then I would say reach out to our staff and we would be happy to help them. And I would say if anybody wants to serve or volunteer, that always helps. Or if they want to, we're trying to form a committee at the senior center on how do we bridge those gaps that we don't see. I have no idea. Or a new program.
The thing that I ask for the most is if we come to mind, and if you're a praying person, that you would pray for us. It really is, I wasn't trained for this, and our volunteers weren't trained for this, and we help a lot of people with mental health issues, with addiction issues. It's a safe place. I don't feel unsafe in our building, but I just always ask. I don't feel like I can ever have enough prayer covering in what we do. It's a peaceful place, and we just want to keep it that way. So as we've grown into it and more and more people are coming to us, that's what I covet the most every day.
That's great. That's great. Is there anybody up here who would refuse prayers for you? Didn't think so. Didn't think so. We do have a few questions. If you have more, just let us know, and we'll ask these. The first one, and I'm not sure who these are directed towards, so if one of you has an answer, feel free to grab that microphone. This one says, do you promote the baby box at the fire department? Boy, somebody grab that microphone quickly.
I'd say baby.
And do you have information on the dangers of sex trafficking? I think those are two separate questions there.
Yeah. Yes, we do support the baby box at the fire department. Anything that's going to allow that child to continue to grow and develop, and whether the mom decides to give up her child in a confidential or in a way that she knows she can't provide for that child, that's fair. But when they come to us and they don't know what they're going to do, we try to steer them towards probably something that helps them feel less guilty if they were just to drop a baby in a box at the fire department, right? And again, we do it in a loving way so that they don't feel like they're just, giving up their child, anonymously. So, and the other question.
Sex trafficking.
No, we don't get into that at all. I don't.
Can you for everybody, just tell them where that baby box is, which fire station?
Yeah, it's the fire station on Santa Fe. It's the main fire station downtown, closest to the hospital. So,
I'll take the one on 6th Street.
It's on,
I'm sorry?
it's on Elm, right?
I'm sorry, did I say Santa Fe? Yeah, no, it's the one on Elm. It is the actual fire headquarters department, yeah.
Fire
My
station
apologies.
one, number one.
Number one, yes.
The one thing I want to say about sex trafficking is it does happen here in Salina. And so we do need to raise awareness that this is going on right here in our community. And we do need to take extra steps to make sure our children are safe in our communities. There are online predators that pretend to be something or someone that they're not. And we need to be vigilant. I saw an episode just the other day where a guy got on the internet pretending to be a 13-year-old girl, signed into a teen chat. Within 60 seconds, he was contacted by a 60-year-old man who wanted to meet and do inappropriate things with that, what he thought was a 13-year-old girl. What we see oftentimes in our community, from our side, from the homeless side, is we see people selling themselves for drugs. We see people who are in desperate situations. We see homeless women who will do things in order to be able to have shelter for the night. And so there's a lot of abuse that happens right here in our community. We just always need to be very vigilant. Yeah, I'll just.
Anybody else? Okay. This question is, has birthright at the bottom, but if anybody else has information, they can. It says, what items can be donated and can they be used items? And where to drop them off as well?
To answer that semi-clearly, we cannot accept children's furniture or baby equipment. The reasons behind that is we do not have a way to watch for recalls, and one of our birthrights in California was actually sued because they gave away a baby bed, and the baby bed had a recall on it that we didn't know about, and the child was killed in that bed. So, and that birthright got sued, and they lost their home, they lost everything. So those are the things that we can't accept. We can't accept car seats because they're used. We accept everything else. We would take used bottles, new bottles, baby diapers, obviously not used diapers, but diapers, clothing, as long as it's serviceable and is it too used, we would accept it. From newborn up to age 4, child's age 4. We take formula, maternity clothes, Judy, what else do we accept? I'm sorry. That about covers it. Money, we'll take money. Cash is king in some cases, but yeah, and you can drop it off. I'm sorry, Judy.
Any type of supplies, shampoo,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah, baby care items, lotions, baby powder, Viper cream, whatever. We'll take all of that. Coats, especially this time of year. Coats for kids is obviously a big item for us. Our house, and I would invite anyone that wants to come in and, probably next year when we have our 50th anniversary celebration, we'll do an open house, and I would encourage everyone to come and look. We, the home that we live in, the whole upstairs is nothing
but clothing. I mean, we went from, like I said, a closet in the United Building to this home now where we can separate our moms that come in where, you know, somebody needs a quiet place to have a consultation, and somebody that just needs a place to wait for their clothing order to be done, to this room that is full of clothing from age 0, newborn, to age 4. I mean, it's incredible to me. But we still accept donations because we fill up our clothing orders for our moms. I recently did a count, I'm going to say I did it in January of 2024. We had over 600 encounters with women in a year.
Wow.
And when I say encounters, that doesn't mean 600 different women, because we do have repeat customers that come in. So, but we see a lot of, you know, within that 2-hour window that we're open Monday through Thursday, we do see repeats and a lot of moms. That's where you drop it off. 1125 East Iron, right across the street from Casey's. We've got a big birthright sign sitting in the middle of the yard.
Are there hours of drop-off for Salina Shares as well, or?
10 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And I would say that if you can't drop it off between 4 and 6, it's okay to drop it off like during the daylight. I would ask that you do it on Monday through Thursday. It's okay to leave it on the front porch. We have a big front porch, and our volunteers will pull it in. We are blessed to have a washer and dryer that we do wash and dry all used clothing that comes in, so that our moms get fresh clothes.
And you had mentioned the 2 hours that you were open, the 4
Yes.
to 6, and this question deals with that. And I believe you explained it very well earlier. Is there any plans to expand the hours, or what is necessary for that to take place?
Volunteers. We like to have our volunteers double up because of the location that we're in, and it's nighttime. To go beyond that, we would definitely need more volunteers, and we are open. So if you're interested in volunteering, come on up. I'll take your name and number and we'll talk.
Can I ask, I didn't write it, may I ask you a question? Or I can write it?
Yes, please, go ahead. I'll write it while you're
Ask you
asking.
Real quickly, what is the difference between birthright and pregnancy center?
We're 2 different service organizations.
What is the difference in the service?
Pregnancy service organizations have nurses that work for them, and they can do things like ultrasounds, and I think they can give away prenatal vitamins, things like that. But we're very similar in what we do. We're just not medically equipped other than to be able to give out a pregnancy test.
So, you know, with politics, we hear all kinds of bad things about birthright and pregnancy service center. Abortion, either or, does recommend that?
No.
Or just pregnancy?
No, we are, like I said, our mission statement is every woman has the right to carry her child to term, and every baby has the right to be born.
That's all.
We do not support abortion. We're there to help moms have alternate choices.
Thank you.
That's all the written questions we have, and I've been given permission by one of the queens up here. Does anybody have just another question they have not written down that they would like to ask? We have just a few minutes left. Go ahead, right in the middle.
Does the Meals on Wheels service all of Saline County or go outside of Saline County?
Meals on Wheels is just within the Salina limits, city limits. We wouldn't have enough volunteers that could drive their personal vehicle out into different counties or too far out of Salina. I wish that there was, but no. For those people that don't have vehicles or access to Meals on Wheels, we try to get them to come in, our family, friends that come in and they pick up our frozens or like TV dinners. that we deliver to our Meals on Wheels people for the weekend so that they do have those hot meals. And there's instructions on them that show you how to cook it in the microwave or heat it up in the oven. And we do have a lot of people that do that.
Go ahead, Clark.
Chad, tell us about the feeding program at the Rescue Mission.
I believe we're the only organization in our community that serves 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year. Our kitchen never closes. Anybody in the community can come to the mission for a meal. Last year, we served over 66,000 meals at the mission, and this year we're on pace to serve close to 80,000 meals this year.
It's
So
really
you
good
don't
food.
have to be staying at the mission.
You do not have to be staying at the mission. So it's oftentimes you'll see women, children, families from the community who are just needing a meal come into the mission. Everybody's welcome. They don't have to fill out paperwork to receive a meal. If they come in for dinner, they'll also hear a chapel message.
And it's really good food.
And it's really good food. Yeah, we have something that's called the mission condition. If you stay around too long, you start putting on some weight there.
And you have a donation spot there at the mission where you can drop off.
Yes, we can accept donations at 1716 Summers Road. Anything you use in your home, we use in ours. That makes it simple enough, right?
You have one here.
Yeah. The Ashby house that was moved from one spot to another, is that open yet, or?
No, it's not open. Though I don't represent them, I do have some information on that. We try to support Ashby House as much as possible. They're a great organization. They're working on getting that house open. They had a few setbacks along the way. We just got sheetrock up in the house, so they had the final not the final. They had the city inspection that they needed so they could start putting sheetrock up. We got the sheetrock up, and now they're doing the painting and working on the finishing work. So we do believe that they're going to get that second house opened up here before too long.
Is that all volunteer work, or?
A lot of it was volunteer work, yes.
We want to thank you for coming out this evening, and if you want to visit with any of our candidates, speakers up here, feel free to do that after the meeting. And again, thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you again next month. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.